Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the subjects of the film, Wendy, Pini, Kevin Eastman, Jay Goldberg, Shannon, Keith Knight, Dr. James Kaufman, and the director, Chris Brown.
And we also have special guests Keith Knight and Gary Graw. Gary, you want to speak out, did you? Yeah. You don't have to come up if you don't want. You guys, I think this is a really unique opportunity for you because I don't think you'll ever see all these people together on one stage ever again. At the bar. So I'm just going to act as a facilitator and moderator here for these folks. And if anybody has questions, please go ahead and start shouting them out. No? No hands? Shannon, you have a question?
Hell no. I just was jumping the gun getting the microphone so we could...
You just want to look at all their pretty faces?
Oh wait, I do want to take a picture of them.
So please, don't feel forced. Put on the phone. So,
Jim has a question.
I have a question, Mr. Brown.
Oh, please.
Did you ask anybody to be in this movie who wouldn't?
Yes. Dave Sim refused to be in the movie. He, after reading my questions, he decided they didn't have enough to do with Cerebus to warrant his time. But he was very kind in letting me use whatever artwork I wanted in representing him. So that was very nice of him. I'm sorry. Yes, if nobody's completely familiar with Cerebus, there is the one scene that I chose was a rape scene from his comic, and it's kind of fit. Because he was talking, because at the time James Syme was talking about the female comic book fan really being into Cerebus, I thought that was like a nice juxtaposition of, okay, so there's a lot more going on here in the world. Any other questions? We got very little time, so the film answered all your questions. That's wonderful. I'm honored. I have a question for anybody that would like to respond. You guys were all very, very kind and trusting me with your artwork and with your words, and I'm wondering why. No, I mean, none of you. Wait. Only two of you maybe had any real interaction with me before I asked you to be in the documentary. So
just persistence. I mean, you know.
I bugged it out.
Times and no, I wasn't. You seemed very sincere about what you wanted to do. It just was very nice, and I was grateful you asked in the first place.
We're attention whores. Whores for attention.
Also, it's incredibly rare to be asked these kinds of questions about your work. You get asked a lot of questions about your characters and what's going to happen next in the story and that sort of thing. But to be asked the whys and the wherefores and what do you really think, that's really interesting. And it's not always easy to answer.
But you did.
He also cleverly disguised himself as a documentary filmmaker.
Nice.
But he had the hat, so.
So James, as the expert on creativity, and this is Dr. James Kaufman. He is a real doctor that is not just an actor. He's not just a doctor on TV. He plays one in real life.
That's true.
And what are your feelings on the documentary?
I thought it turned out great. I mean, as somebody who usually does the other end and asks these kinds of questions, but to other scientists or students, to be able to talk about creativity in the context of actual applied, real-life art, people who are being creative, I thought that was amazing. I mean, if I could do what you guys do, I would be doing that. But I can't.
Okay, so questions, finally, yes, sir.
What about the freaking ELFQUEST movie? Okay, please come to our panel, 1:30 Sunday. The director of the movie will be there. You can ask him. And let's go back to the documentary.
Oh, Wendy, so sweet. Sir. I was a failed mini comics artist. I did a mini comic called Banked and another one called Artfly. Only had print run circulations, typical of mini comics, so 100 to 500 copies. Yeah, I was exploring these questions. Am I doing this, every year after year, going to conventions and, never really getting over that hump of sales where it became viable to actually try and print out more and in a more substantial volume. So, sir?
Why should I create land-based? And I guess I'm asking, it's kind of hard to go to
I love this question.
Your heart comes to mind.
Yes.
I'm kind of, my foot's in the door, and I'm making it, and I don't know who you are.
You'd be amazed.
Why should I not give up now? I mean, it's really hard. I just don't seem to fit in. I can't seem to fit into the industry. You get people like me, but they don't. They want me to go to the galleries. Yeah, I go to the galleries, and they don't like me.
Fuck them.
No, honestly, just keep, it doesn't matter, I know you're an old friend of mine, it's silly, but no, it doesn't, if nobody ever bought one comic I ever did and one drawing I ever did, I just would have never stopped doing it because I love to do it, and you're doing it because you love to do it, and it's important to you, it gives you life, it gives you breath, it makes you happy, and that's the most important thing ever.
I quit. I mean, I did my first piece ever, my first official TMN piece came out yesterday.
Oh, congratulations.
Question marks they keep giving me, or what kind of question mark I go into that portfolio review. I mean, if I gave up last year, I
You can't give up.
Let me just jump in and say, always remember, there's criticism and there's attack. Criticism is always useful somehow, and its intention really is to be helpful. Attack is their problem, not yours. Just remember that.
You sound like a real trooper, you're going to make it.
It's also interesting to note that from the research, one of the biggest creativity killers is evaluation. And that getting that evaluation is one of the biggest things that can dampen people wanting to continue to be creative.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I just want to see you all get a lot of guts, and I wanted to know, once you have an idea, once you have some art, once you put these two things together and you have a story, where do you go from there? How do you get it published? Not all this movie go to an apartment or an offset. Where do you go from there?
Nowadays?
The internet, isn't it? I mean, web comics is kind of the answer to, no? Oh, Shannon hates the internet. I cut that out of the movie, but that's one of my favorite quotes.
No, it's very tough these days. I mean, it's, I was inspired by underground publishers like Wendy and Richard doing ELFQUEST and Dave Sim doing Cerebus, and it was reminded, actually it was those kind of comics that reminded self-publishing was a viable way without having to go draw guys in tights and stuff like that. And you could do it in the direct comic market, you could do it very affordable, but that's changed so much. I mean, I do think, the internet kind of sucks in many ways. It is a way for people to get exposure, reach communities and stuff of like minds, and get you to succeed and maybe build a following. But mini comics, that's where I started with mini comics as well. And I was doing 25 copies at a time and giving them to my friends who were like, what am I supposed to do? But no, it's very hard. I wonder what anybody else has to say about reaching an audience out there.
Chris definitely mentioned the internet. I really do think that this is the wave of the future because if you are able to get your work up on the internet, and especially in a regular episodic basis, and build an audience for it, then you can interest a publisher in the work that already exists, and the publisher will go, oh, yum, yum, because it's already there. It's So this is definitely a route I've gone recently, and it's turning out to be working splendidly.
Yeah, the internet is obvious. It works for you 24 hours a day, 24/7. Having a website, people can view it from anywhere around the world if they have internet access. I come from a different angle. I'm more of a newspaper cartoonist, but I did the same thing. I did zines first starting out and getting it into the local comic shops and stuff. But I also made an effort to get it into local newspapers, free magazines and stuff. They're always looking for graphics. Everyone's always asking for submissions or comics or whatever. So got in there, built it up, just every little bit until I had enough for a portfolio to submit to a local newspaper. And once I got into the San Francisco Weekly, it was a lot easier to get into other places because they say, oh, you're in San Francisco? Oh, okay, we'll run it. So just continue to build it, but having that website, I think, is huge.
Did you want to poo-poo websites?
Shannon.
I was just going to say that we probably all broke into the field, if you want to call it that, in different ways, but what we all have in common, I'm sure, is that we all hustled.
Yes, ma'am. Guys, Wendy says why not, Kevin says why not.
No, I think that's, you know, a lot of people said out there, the inspiration comes from so many different places, and whether it's, old sayings that your grandfather used to say or something, I grew up in Maine, so Maine is some of the comics, which I think, cool beans and stupid stuff, it just goes right by a lot of people, but, it just fit the way it fit. So these guys that are writing stuff from Michigan are writing about what's inspiring them and what's important to them, and I think it's great that they do this. They're drawing from what's around their surroundings and using it creatively.
I think it's totally important to make reference, like not necessarily make these references all the time and that be the basis of all these gags or stories that most people won't get, but I think it totally makes sense to incorporate a lot of localized stuff in a sense that maybe the overall big picture may appeal to a much wider audience, but then there are smaller pockets that will understand what it's like to be a cartoonist, what it's like to live in a particular situation, what it's like to, I don't know, work at this particular job and stuff. There's always going to be pockets of people that get more of a certain thing of the comic than other folks. And the key is to be able to get as many people in different aspects of the comic to relate to it. I got people who relate to some of my work, but others that they don't relate to some of the other ones. When I talk about race issues, obviously there's going to be a certain segment of people that totally relate to it from saying, oh yeah, that did happen to me. But I'm hoping that folks that it didn't happen to, they're into my comics enough, they've read my comics enough to know that I know he's spoken the truth to me in other situations. So I understand, I don't necessarily understand the experience he's going through, but I'm glad he's relaying that to me.
One of our most popular ELFQUEST t-shirts was our Where the Hell is Poughkeepsie t-shirt. So, and very few of the fans knew what Poughkeepsie was, but they just liked the word. New York.
So we have time for one or two more questions. Anyone else? Sir?
Oh, people are. Yeah. Well, that's the delightful thing about the internet. It has infinite potential depending on what your customers' needs and wishes are. If they want to just watch it on the internet, they can. If the book comes out later, they can hold the book in their hands. It's, the one supports the other. I don't think the internet will ever replace publishing. Too many people just love holding that paper in their hand and smelling the ink, and I don't think that'll ever go away.
Oh, Penny Arcade and Megatopia, I haven't heard of that one, but Perry Bible Fellowship. These are other ones that do very well. One final really quick question. Anybody? Wrap it up. Sorry.
We're not leaving here until you ask a question.
The feedback on the documentary has been really good. I haven't had anybody give me any serious criticism on it yet, which kind of makes me concerned. But I mean, it makes me extra concerned because sales are really a little stagnant, and reviews are resoundingly good. And DVDtalk.com, Wizard Universe had a nice review. But just getting the word out there, I'm a one-man army here, and just the promotion aspect of it, getting it done is one battle, and the promotion aspect of it is a whole other one that is just daily grind. So, but the feedback's great. Yeah. I'm waiting to hear back from PBS and Ovation TV cable channel. Here it's available here in San Diego at booth 1533. If anybody's interested in picking up a copy to show to friends and family, booth 1533. It's only $15. A steal as far as I'm concerned. And I'll also have them surreptitiously on sale right outside the door here for a little bit before we all scuttle out of here. Thanks a lot, guys. You were even without the people that came in the middle and towards the end, it was the biggest audience so far that I've had for it. So it was really great to see you. Thank you guys for being here.
On behalf of the Independent Film Festival, we'd like to thank you very much for your work, and we hope to see you again soon.